Welcome, everybody. To another edition of Wow People with me, Kelli Sae, your host, and my girl, Sophia, who handles everything on the back end, helping everything go nice and smooth. And we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight and everybody who last week. Sophia, how's everything?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm still reeling from the, Memorial weekend and all the rain. I was super wet, and it's just, there was a point that I had enough with the rain, but it was still like, you know what? The earth needs cleansing. So it's good. It's good. So that was great. I want to also, give a big thanks to everybody for tuning in last week. We had an awesome panel. We had John James, Myself, Keith Fluid, Jenny Douglas, and Ramona Dunlap, and it was just a great time. But tonight, right? Wasn't it? Yeah. It was like being in your living room with like some friends and just kicking it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but tonight, oh my goodness, I have to like contain myself because like there's a few people on the planet that are just badass all around, and that person's here tonight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to bore anybody with my silly chatter. I'm just going to bring her right in. Our special guest for the night, Miss Lucy Woodward. Bring her in, Sophia. Mwah.
Oh my God. Wow, that is one hell of an intro. That is some enthusiasm right there, girl.
Oh my gosh. Lucy, I adore you.
That was such a sweet intro. Thank you so much. Really.
Thanks for that one. She puts it together. And I mean, I just,
just your words. Your words. Thank you so much.
You're worthy, of course. And I want to say hello to the people joining us, DJ Dress and Doran. Thank you so much for being here. And the rest of you for tuning in tonight. Lucy's in the house. And I mean, she might answer some of your questions if you type them in the comments. We might be able to touch on some of your questions, but I have a bunch of questions too to ask her.
Yes.
I know her already. We're friends. We go way back, but I don't know everything about her. And again, I've said it before. When I have a guest of your esteem on here, and then I go reading your bio and your resume, my mind is just like blown because you've done so much.
As you have. So,
me.
Okay. I'm going to make this all about you. Yes. Okay. I hear you. Yes. It's crazy. I mean, even sending you material, I was like, wait, oh my God, I forgot I did that. That's pretty cool. Sometimes, especially after a year of COVID of not working a whole lot, you're kind of like, oh, I did some cool things, So it's kind of interesting to look at it all. It's like another life in a way.
Cool things. Many cool. But I know I'm just going to touch a little bit and you tell the rest of the story. You're born in London, right? And then moved to New York and Holland, right? And you are opera singer. Your mom's an opera singer and a belly dancer, and your dad's a composer and a conductor.
Yes, girl.
Tell me more. Fill us in on everything. Tell us.
That is an insane memory. I was born in London. My parents were in the classical world. My mom's a musicologist and an opera singer and a belly dancer also. And my father is a composer, conductor. And we moved for his work to Amsterdam, where we lived till I was 5. And then they divorced. And my mom took my brother and I to New York, where she grew up. And my dad stayed in Holland, remarried, and all of my summers were in Holland with him. So I grew up with my mom in New York, and then all my summers were in Holland with him. So it was a very, very bicontinental. It sounds pretty posh, but it really wasn't, because everyone was just, a musician, so it wasn't, it just was, my brother and I were really exposed to the world at a really, really young age. And that was the kind of household I grew up in, just two kind of classical worlds. But I'm not a classical singer at all.
So I have questions. The first question is, for the people that don't know in the world, what is a musicologist?
Oh, goodness. I think there are different, this is interesting. My mom there's a famous music encyclopedia called Grove, Music Encyclopedia. So picture any encyclopedia on any kind of subject. And she was in bibliography. So she had to translate, and it's really it's really nerdy, kind of a lot of reading, proofread, translate articles from different libraries around the world to put them in this, encyclopedia. But there are different levels of musicologists. Like, say you have, you're comparing songs like the Robin Thicke song and the Marvin Gaye, like that whole world, and you bring in a musicologist to dissect the notes and the melodies and the lyrics, and how much of it is it a demo? Is it from, is it a Marvin Gaye rip? That kind of thing. So
it's worthy of a lawsuit, right?
Exactly. So they're different. Exactly. That, and then they really break down what you're looking at, the piece of music. Is it compared to Marvin Gaye's demo? Is it, Robin Thicke? Yeah, it's Robin Thicke, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I just couldn't space out. So, it's someone like that would come in. I can't remember the outcome of that completely, but someone like that is brought into whatever, the trial or the stand, or to analyze a situation. So that's also musicologist. That's not what my mom did. My mom was like the bibliographer type. So it's a very deep subject. It's like the study of, not the study of music, but it's the study of, analyzing. Anyway, you get it. It covers a lot of ground, but there's this, like Rhiannon Gideon from the singer, she is an ethnomusicologist, I think. And so that's the study of music around the world and things like that, if I'm saying her name right. Anyway, so there's all sorts of musicology. My father was a composer, conductor. My stepmom was an opera singer. And I kind of rebelled and went the other way.
So do you speak Dutch?
Ooh, Dutch was my first language. And yes, but I mean, any Dutch people watching, they will know that I'm, I speak like a 5-year-old. So I sang all my Dutch, Christmas songs and Dutch growing up. But when we moved to America, nobody really speaks Dutch in America. So it kind of went away. But I live in Holland now. And in the COVID year, I spent a lot of time in Dutch school learning, going to school and like learning there's lots of sounds.
So do you wanna say some words for us right now?
Didn't you spend time in Germany?
Oh, loads.
Yeah.
And Vienna, Austria.
Vienna, that's right.
And wherever. I know a ton. Well, not a ton. A lot of almost all the languages. A few sentences here and there. Mostly how to order food because I love to eat.
Yeah.
Important stuff. What matters.
Important stuff. Exactly. Train tickets. So like living in New York and going to visit my dad my whole life in the summers, I practiced ordering my train tickets, ordering my food, but normally they know that you're not Dutch, so they respond to you in Dutch people. They all speak perfect English. They respond to you in English, so it's very hard to learn. It's not like you're in Russia or China where they might not speak English, so you're never really forced to learn, and that's a bad habit. Got to break that habit. Like try to speak Dutch as much as possible, which is just a super hard language. The grammar is crazy.
So can you say something to us? Like tonight you're watching us on.
Oh my God!
Some cool thing. I want to hear you say something.
Oh my God! It will take me a long. Oh my God! I'm so embarrassed. So all Dutch people watching, I'm apologizing for sabotaging. Ik zit hier met Kelli Sae met, I'm so embarrassed now. The praten and conversation about music, and singing. Okay. So I'm a mess. I'm like sweating everywhere.
But thank you. And what about your brother? Does he is he in music as well or anything like that?
He's a very musical kid. He's a year and a half younger than me. We're super close. He is a graphic, whiz and branding designer and music director and commercial director. And he's actually done a few of my music videos. So we've always kind of worked together creatively. He's working on a new video now. We just have a good creative thing. I think we went through a lot together as a kid, and we just understand each other's creative brains. And there's a lot of things that we can talk about without even talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like we kind of think like twins because we're so close in age.
That's a blessing to have.
Yeah, I feel really fortunate.
That's not, I mean, I'm really close with my siblings too. I get that, but
yeah,
there are people that are not so close to all their siblings in that kind of a way. So that's something, I love those. I cherish that, that bond is totally cool.
Yeah,
I see Bill has wrote, I love the stuff you're doing with Charlie Hunter.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
He's bringing it in sooner than I wanted to, but since he brought it up, we're going to talk about the project that you're doing with Charlie Hunter. We're going to play a video. Your voice is amazing on everything. And I am a super fan, and I don't mind that anybody sees me gushing because when it's gushing over, that's when you gush. When it's not gushy, then you just don't. So, but it's worth the gushiness because you're like fantastic. So let's talk about, your new project. And I don't want to say anymore because you told me a little bit behind the scenes, but tell me, tell everybody, and then we're going to get into that video.
Yeah. So the Charlie Hunter project, Charlie and I, this is for you, Bill. We met each other through our friends in Snarky Puppy, and we always kind of were like 6 degrees separation. And he was working with a singer named Silvana Estrada, who's an incredible singer from Mexico. He did a record with her. She was trying to get into the country for some touring with him, and her visa got denied like 3 times, like really ridiculous, because she's amazing. She belongs in this country to tour. And so she had to back out of the tour like 4 days before this tour. This is back in 2018. And so he called me and he was like, you don't really know me that well, but are you able to do this tour that starts like in about 5 days? Like you have to fly, we got to figure out a set, fly in 2 days, we'll rehearse and go on the road starting that day for 3 weeks kind of thing. So I moved a few things around, but I was certainly able to just jump over and do it. I was really pumped. We both love the blues. And so we just went for the next 2 or 3 days. We just like texted back a lot of ideas back and forth to each other. He really opened my world up to deep blues. Like I knew blues. I always sang blues and I always loved, but he was like, but do you know Willie Dixon? But do you know Otis Rush? So he was sending me incredible. It was just that back and forth for like 3 days. So I'm just learning material because I know he's the kind of guy that would like change music up every night, like just because it's him or an instrumental. It's really different with a singer building that kind of set. So we did some Bessie Smith and we did some Hank Williams and Junior. Yeah. And anyway, we had a very versatile bluesy set and that was really fun. And then you start saying, hey, let's try this tune from like Terence Trent D'Arby and kind of make it our own thing. Let's do this Nina Simone thing to make it like a little more, contemporary. And then the song from the Animals. And then like, anyway, we just started building. Oh, thanks, Kobe. Super cool. Thank you so much. And then we started, building what our sound was, which was kind of like taking a blues or a song, and as long as he can groove over it in his weird, wild way. Anybody out there who does not know Charlie Hunter, he's pioneered this idea of having a guitar and bass kind of rolled into one. So it's an 8-string, 7-string, 6-string, whatever. And so there was a really cool process in that, working with me, like carving out the space where my voice would fit in, because you got your high guitar strings, low bass strings. So we played around with different keys a lot and different songs, different tempos, just to see where we could fit. Because sometimes if I'm singing in like a low alto kind of sometimes tenor range, that could really, frequencies could like with his lower strings could be like, so you really learn that stuff until you're on the road. So within a few weeks, we knew we had to record something. And let's make an album. Let's do this. So we recorded, it went into 2019. We got a European agent. We were going back and forth America. I mean, in 2019 was kind of like 180 days on the road or something crazy. So come 2020, January, we recorded our second record. And while we were in the studio, we were on our way to China, like the next coming weeks. And we got the call that the whole tour and year has been canceled. So we're only now releasing this new record. But we did so much touring together. I never did that amount of touring, especially as a singer. It's, you know, when you're touring, you're doing your own thing and you're always like watching your voice. And these were some weeks were 5-6 nights a week, which is a lot for singing. But the cool thing about working with Charlie is I'm like, yo, I'm a little bit burnt tonight. Do an instrumental, or let me lower the key. And that was always a challenge for him. Like, okay, I'll lower the key in like last minute, and we'd have fun with that. So it's loose. It's hardcore, but it was loose, and it was totally my style. So that's how that whole project came together.
So now you have the single you're releasing now.
Yeah. So we're releasing this new album June 25th. And starting a few weeks ago, starting in April, we released this song, Stranger Blues. And then a few weeks ago, another song, which Kobe just mentioned, My Love Will Never Die. And then this Friday is a jazz standard that we kind of put a groove to, Gloomy Sunday, which we'll release this Friday.
Beautiful, beautiful. So then let's get into Stranger Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel so like those radio Stranger Blues.
You're very good at this, by the way. You're very, very good at this.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers.
I'm a stranger here, and I just born in your town. I'm a stranger here, and I just born in your town.
Yeah.
And just because I'm a stranger, everybody's dogging me around. Well, I wonder how come they treat a poor stranger so. Hey, well, I wonder how come they treat a poor stranger so. And they all should remember they're gonna reap just what they sow. Oh. Hey, well, I'm going down south if I wear a 99 pair of shoes. Ooh, hey, well, I'm going down south if I wear a 99 pair of shoes. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm welcome. I won't like this stranger blues. Ooh, yeah. And you know I'll be welcome. Won't have this stranger blues. Ooh, baby. And you know I'll be welcome. No more of these stranger blues.
Aww.
Wow. That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
So let me just guess. Charlie's the drummer, right? I'm kidding.
He's the harpist. You can see the harpist sitting in the back.
That was amazing. I want
Thank
those boots. I'll take those shoes. Thank you very much.
$25 cheap somewhere, Kmart, something or other, I'm sure.
That's great. There's so much to talk about. I want to make sure that I cover it all.
Yeah.
The way we met, do you remember that?
No, you tell the story. I mean,
We met at a sound check. We met at a sound check in New York City for that night. Who was playing? I think it was.
Wait, where were we?
So, Ital Sure.
Really?
Ital Sure was doing a gig.
Mm-hmm.
Ital Sure, whoever doesn't know, he wrote the Maxwell Ascension. I think.
Didn't I realize
He wrote
you're
Ascension.
the high? Yep. And he also wrote "Smooth" by Santana.
Smooth. Right, Santana. Smooth.
Both of them. Yeah.
Right. So we were. Ital was doing a gig, and you were there meeting. I forget her name. The red hair singer.
Jenny
What's her
Carr.
Jenny Carr. Jenny.
Yes.
They're meeting Jenny. And I was there because I knew Sarah, who was singing background.
Sarah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I went there
Sarah Divine.
to hang out. And then you and I met, and we like really hit it off. And we exchanged numbers and
Yes.
and then over the years we just stayed friends. And then we lost touch for a hot minute or whatever. And then I went to go see your gig in California. I saw that you were I saw you were playing somewhere, and it was mad far. And I didn't even try to like tell you I was coming. I was like, I'm just gonna surprise you. I'm just gonna turn in this really cool little pub. I mean, and you just blew the roof off, and it was just killer. I was like, hi, Lucy. You were like, Kelly.
Oh my God. That right. Yes, I remember. And then we had a lovely dinner. And we got to know each other.
But that's when, like, that's the beauty of like when you're really cool with people. There's that thing that it doesn't matter how many years go by or whatever. It never feels awkward or weird or whatever because you're sisters. It's just
exactly.
It's the vibe. There's no, oh, hey, hi.
No. And also that, this world is, I mean, the fact that you showed up that night at that gig, this is for everybody. You got to support your community. And it was such a lovely surprise to see you because we didn't know each other that well. And I've done that to people also. Like, you're like, I need to go see them do their thing. You need to support the community. It's so hard in Los Angeles because of the driving situation and you can't drink. And, people, everyone's like in bed early kind of thing. But New York, it's a lot easier to just get out and go do stuff. And you go, but I thought that was so cool that you did that. And,
but it was amazing. And I have some footage actually from that I'm going to send you because I remember I took a lot of video that night and I was like, oh my God, I had like a wacky phone with little memory back then. And so the videos got saved to the cloud. So when I got this new phone with like all the memory in the world, all of the stuff in the cloud just poured itself into my phone. And now I'm just finding all these great videos like from years ago.
So cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, in the mystic cloud. Anyway, let's talk about your resume a little bit more. The work you did with Snarky Puppy. And how did that come about?
Oh my goodness. So Michael League is the band leader, bass player, band leader. He is created Snarky Puppy. He was my bass player in 2011 in New York. I was touring a lot with a little trio with Henry Hay on keys and Mike, and I was already living in LA, but I was spending a lot of time in New York. So Mike was my bass player, and he said, I'm doing some snarky gigs. I have this little band called Snarky Puppy, and I was like, Snarky, huh? And he said, yeah, my college band, just jump in the van with us. It's like going to be tight. It's 9 people, but just jump in. We'll you open for us, and we'll be your backing band, and we'll just wing it. You'll do like 6 songs. We'll figure it out. So I did a bunch of dates, like maybe 2 or 3 different, tours, and yes, they do rock. And so we, and that, I mean, and it was tight. It was like tight living, but the camaraderie and the brotherhood and the love and the music first. And it was, I learned so much about, well, not only music, but just a team. And like, it takes a village, you know what I mean? So that was really like, it was so inspiring on so many levels. So they had this residency at Rockwood Music Hall in New York called Family Dinner. It was every month or something like that. And every once a month on a Friday night at midnight, they would play a set and they would bring up 3 or a couple singers just to sing a song or two. No rehearsal. You kind of send your MP3 or whatever. They learn it. No rehearsal, no sound check, just trust. And so I remember sending them a couple things, and I got up, and Shayna Steele, do you know Shayna?
I know the name. I don't think I know.
Incredible also singer. So she got up and she sang something, and I was like, this is amazing. And she was also on the Family Dinner album. And then they called me up, and it's sort of like, okay, you're just going to trust that the pocket is going to be insane, and they're going to just get it and do their own thing to it. And that was like real, so got up and did that. And then I'd never kind of really experienced anything like that with that kind of energy with whatever, 12, 15 people on stage in Rockwood, which is a tiny little club. And I think that from like that week, we were going on doing these little tours. So Family Dinner, that residency, they decided to make an album out of it. And that was their first record with vocalists. So we recorded it in a theater in Virginia and Roanoke, Virginia, in a little, beautiful but small theater. And that kind of earned them that album with Layla Hathaway's performance on it. That's that crazy song that she does, something. You and I got something. And she does that crazy like throat singing, like the Tuvan throat singing, scatting. That she sang that song on that same concert night. And so they earned their first Grammy from that performance with her. So it was a really an honor to, be a part of that hang. But it was so natural. Like that's the whole thing with whoever they bring into their fold is like very organic. Like there's no bullshit, it's just like, you got love, you're talented, just come and do the hang, and then that's really what they are. And a lot of hours, a lot of money invested into their own project to build who they are and what they've become. So we just had it was a cool thing. And actually Charlie and I opened for them last year, November 2019 in the UK. And we ended up in Royal Albert Hall with them and, did Dublin, and so it was really special. So since 2011 or 12, I've been opening up for them or collaborating with them in some way, and that kind of thing. So
that's
it's just one of those
amazing.
that
is
really
amazing.
Special peeps.
I love those kind of stories because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what it's really supposed to be about. And oftentimes it ends up not being that.
Yeah.
When it's
when it's about the music and the music is good, then there's no time for drama and there's no time for the bullshit stuff. I mean, there's always going to be drama where, in the business because it is what it is, but it's but when music is first and the message of what you want to say first. I mean, we all have strayed and done strange things in our career because we have to, pay the bills or whatever it is, or something, they're not mistakes. They're all just lessons that we learn.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? Like there's that whole thing.
If you're wise enough to receive that,
exactly. Yeah.
The thing is that there's a couple of ways to look at it, but if you have the wisdom to look at it that way from the positive perspective as a lesson or as a teachable moment, then that's great. But I
totally
see that your song from Snarky Puppy because it is one of my favorites off of that record.
Thank you.
Please let's get into it because I can't wait any longer. Please.
Take it off and take me in. I am not your friend. It isn't hard to see the way this ends. Still, I'm dying to begin. To blame it on a past fast. We're fire too hot to last. I feel you, feel me again. Sweating through your skin. I don't fear to lose. I don't hope to win. I just want you to give in. Blame it on our past. Blame it on our circumstance. Kiss me deep, but kiss me fast. We're fire too hot to last. We're fire too hot to last. Fire too hot Fire too hot to last.
Oh, wow.
I still get chills like that whole week we were rehearsing different artists, and I look at photos I have or footage or watching any of the artists. It was a really special. We knew something was like, oh my God, this is really special. We all were, it was really,
I feel that from that video. Like
yeah.
it's making that energy just makes it way straight off the screen, because that's what like attracted me to it. When I heard it, there's so many factors about that whole song and the musicianship, the whole nine, that just make it what it is. When you put it all together, and it's just like the perfect blend of the kind of, you have this quality of your voice. It's like, it's got a rasp to it. It's soulful. It's funky. It's gospely. It's like a lot of little things. And then put that together with the kind of vintage sounds that they have too coming forth. It's just like, how can it not be amazing?
Thank you.
Seriously, like for real.
Thank you.
It's really, my hair stand up. It's like, and it brings me to, that's why we do music, because of that feeling right there.
Yeah.
It's the feeling. So it's like, and it doesn't, if you could put it in a bottle, like they say, and just like,
Sell it, we'd be, yeah, exactly.
You know, because it's like, and I eat and breathe and live music. There isn't a moment that I drive everybody in this house crazy. There isn't a moment of the day that there's not something musical going on here. Either I'm playing something, or I'm singing something, or and I'm always inspired by my peers, by you and the new generation and the generations beforehand and all of that. It's just, I'm always looking for that thing that's going to spark that out of me, like give me that feeling, those chills. And that does that. So bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we got a question. I just wanted to time to thank everybody again for tuning in with us tonight. Special feature with Lucy Woodward. And Dres wants to know, who is your dream collaboration with?
Oh my God. I'm going to say, I feel like it changes all the time, but one of them is Bjork. One of them is Steven Tyler. One of them is Chopin, if he were alive.
Wow.
That is quite varied. And I'm sure there's a million people in between. Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes. I love her voice. I connect with her a lot. You know what's so cool about her voice? Is that she really uses her full range. And it's like this high this low register, and it sounds so easy. It's so organic and natural, and it's just a natural, normal and natural, organic way of her using her instrument, and it's intense and also loose. So I really love her too.
Yeah, and I like that too, and that excites me when I hear singers like that, and myself too. I don't. I feel like that too. I'm always trying to, when I'm performing something, I feel like I'm a painter in a way, and I want to use different colors and different brush strokes and different things, and if I get in a situation that they just want me to do the same thing, I'm usually very frustrated, and I have to get out. Kobe, Kobe's leaving us. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, Kobe. Bye.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, everybody. And Al and Doug, and there's so many people to thank for tuning in, taking this little thing that I'm doing here. And I'm really just appreciating the love that we're getting. It's really cool. So thank you so much, everybody. So cool. Anyway, but yeah, so all that said,
something that you just said a second ago, I think it's really important as a singer, is also like learning about your voice, because you've been, whether it's your own artist, your own music, your own original music or whatever, or the jobs that have been given to you or you've been hired for, you have been stretched vocally to know how to adapt to a situation. So, if they're like, give me some airy background vocals, you know how to tap into that. If they're like, give me some big belting, then you know how to, gospel stuff, and then you know how to tap into that. And that you learn from that because you've been doing it your whole life. You listen to that and you also learn it. And then you start realizing you can make a living, doing it. So I always call it like a vocal laboratory, because there's so much to explore when you're in the booth and they're like, okay, what do you got? Whether it's an original or you're hired for something, whatever it is, the voice is such a cool instrument because every instrument is cool, but when you love to sing, there's so much to explore. And I think I'm still learning.
Yeah. I mean, yes to all that. And, I've been a vocal coach for a long time now. And that's one thing I'm always like trying to prepare all my students for, is to be able to sing whatever they want. I would hate that they want to do something and they never built the chops up to do that. So I'm always like, and I'm like, hey, look at the big picture. You may want that, but I want to prepare you, if you'll allow me, to be able to do whatever you want. Because one morning you might be like, I want to do, and then you can do that. And that's the whole, which brings me back to you and your longevity in the business. You've been doing it for quite some time and well. And let's just talk about what, it is that makes you, aside from the voice, that's just a part of it. That's just but a fraction, if only it was just talent based, but it's not. We know it's not, because we know that there are a lot of other factors. Can you just shed some light on what some of the, what do you think the song is for that success?
It's such a deep question. I mean, first of all, you have to really, really love it. When I remember being in New York and playing on Bleecker Street with my band, trying to get a record deal back in the day when it was like, I need a record deal, and people would come, A&R people would come, and then they're like, she's really good, but not enough hits, or, lose 20 pounds, or all the stuff that comes to you, and you're just constant rejection. Yes. And for whatever reason, I just kept waiting on those tables, and, then eventually you keep writing songs and you keep working on your voice and you keep doing your local gigs, and then things start to move and click. So you have to love what you do so much. But then also be so, have so much stamina and perseverance. And I don't mean like cutthroat person. I mean, you just have to be consistent. And, when you're young and you're New York is an incredible city to just do whatever you want to do. There were always gigs and always people to meet and come sit on my gig and come sing. And, so it comes down to the love of what you do, and that no one can take that away from you, but it can be so disheartening as a young musician or young singer or artist in the business, because there's so much rejection. But once you kind of go, not for me, like, I'm going to keep doing my thing. And then I remember I got one record deal with like Tommy Mottola on Sony, and nothing happened with that. And then I went to Atlantic Records, and it was like a top 40 kind of big hit thing. And that was its own world of madness and being on Jay Leno. And then it goes away really fast. And you're like, okay, what do I do? So then you take whatever money you made from that, and you go and you make your new indie record, and just, so it's everything leads to another thing. But the business is the disheartening part. And I don't mean fame and money. I just mean like the constant comparison of things, and where you feel like you fit in. You're not pop enough. You're not jazz enough. Who cares? Like, I didn't only listen to pop growing up. I didn't only listen to jazz growing up. I didn't only listen to soul. You listen to all of it. And I feel well-rounded and rich in what I do because of that. So why would I only sing one thing? So there's the love, the stamina, the perseverance, and like, but I've strayed also. Like, I had to, I remember when I was doing a lot of session work in like the late, early 2000s or even late 90s. And I was really young and still learning a lot about my own voice. And I was getting hired to do like Britney Spears demos or Jessica Simpson demos. And I remember doing so much like session work and demos for people that I lost my own sound. And I was just like, at the end of the day, I was starting to just sound like Britney Spears. And I knew I have to not do this kind of work anymore. I have to not do that kind of work anymore. And then I started really finding my own sound and writing songs that were in my head, not what was going to be on the radio. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of self-explanatory, laboratory, exploration. Yeah.
But I get that. And I went through the same when I was trying to just like get the big record deal kind of thing and jumping through hoops. I remember I just kept writing and demoing songs. And every time I would present it to a label or a manager, and they would say like, oh my God, that's great. But because I'm bilingual, they say, well, that's great. J-Lo's hot right now. She'll do something Spanish and English. Oh, that's great. Can you do something that's more like Mary J. Blige? That's great. Can you do something? But that's great. But that's great. But that's great. But and after a while, you just like find that it's just a lot of noise. And at the end of the day, I just finally just said, you know what? I'm just going to write songs that I love.
Yeah.
Or the ones I love. What comes out. Art, not trying to listen and tailor it to be in that particular market or that whatever, because again, I'm a painter and
a vocal painter.
Today I want to do painting with polka dots, and tomorrow I'm going to do like an abstract, and tomorrow
exactly.
And that's just, and you're going to find the people that appreciate what it is that you do, as long as you try to play those games.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult, and maybe you'll make it in a kind of way in your mind that you say, oh yeah, I've made it like that. But at the end of the day, and your soul, I don't know if you'll be as happy because you weren't true to your art form.
Yeah.
You need it to be necessarily.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
let's talk about the Jay Leno moment and getting to sit on the couch.
Well, this is kind of crazy, but I had this song called Dumb Girls on the radio in 2003, and it was very like, go. It was just, that year went by so fast, but that was hardcore. It was like a hardcore top 40 radio hit, and you're in a van driving across country or just doing radio shows all the time. It was a very young market. It was geared towards the MTV world. So my audience, they were between 12 and 17, a lot of high school kids. And so there was a lot of like, okay, can you lose weight by Friday? And, lie about your age and wear this and don't wear that. And that's stuff that you don't even ever want to have to think about, and it gets thrown your way, and it's really, really intense. But I remember I did this. So in that period, it was the day the release was coming out. I was on Jay Leno, and Alex Rodriguez just got traded to the Yankees, maybe something like that. And Bill Paxton was on, and then I was on, and Bill Paxton, I think some of his segment was cut or something, and they're like, you're going to sing your song and you're going to bow and then you're going to run to the couch so he can talk with you for 1 minute. And I think they just had time. So I just went there and I was like, hi, you know, and he's like, it was kind of set up beforehand, but he said, so was that Dutch that I heard in your, in your dressing room? Like, I think they wanted to connect the whole Dutch thing, something kind of funny and quirky, because there wasn't really enough time to get into a conversation. And also nobody knew me yet. So it was like the record came out like that day. So he was a very funny man, bluest eyes I've ever seen in my entire life. And that was it was kind of an out of body experience, you know. And also I'd never been on a TV show before singing my own stuff. So there's like a red dot that you're supposed to look at. And I was too nervous to even know. And then you're only in a studio full of however many people are there, 50 people. And it's, you know, you sung on TV. It's a little bit, you know, kind of what bubble am I in? Oh, I have to, okay. Hey, I just saw this comment. First, heard Lucy's voice on All Night by Groove Collective. Oh man, so you are old school New York, it sounds like. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so,
Dredz, he's like a bona fide, like bomb New York DJ, so he knows.
You know then. Wow. Well, Ital Shur was who I met you at his show, is one of my best friends still to this day. And he was a keyboard player of Groove Collective. So we've done so much music making over the years, but he's like, we were just hanging, like making some music and sing. We had our own band together, and he's like, come sing on my Groove Collective record. So that was, I think, probably one of my first cool recordings that I did, where I am like, I'm proud to be on the Groove Collective record. But, you know, little Lucy.
Let's talk about, you and Rod Stewart. You did, I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff. Shaka Khan, Michael Bolton, Carole King, I forgot one.
Look at these photos.
Celine Dion, Gavin DeGraw, Paula Abdul, Nikki Costa, whom I adore, Joe Cocker, 2 BMI awards as a songwriter. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Well, oh my God. Well, during that time that I had this song "Dumb Girls" on the air, I had also written for. I had a song that I didn't want to. I had a song that I didn't want to put on the record. It was too similar to something else I had on the record. So there was a girl named Stacey Orico who was on Virgin, and she was a Christian artist that was turning like cross genre, you know, she was kind of going into the pop world. So I had a song that I'd written with my 2 co-writers, Sibel Breer and Kevin Kadish, and it was a song called There's Gotta Be More to Life. And it was a very positive song about there's gotta be more to life than wanting more, you know? So she fell in love with this song, her label fell in love with that song. And I was like, great, go cut the song. And so she made it this massive, like, top 10 worldwide hit or something. So it was just by chance that happened, and I was a writer on it, and that was what the BMI awards were. But I remember I was on with the Rod Stewart stuff. I was on Verve, which is a jazz label like the other Blue Note, and I just put out a record in 2010. And then you're like, okay, now what? I'm on a jazz label, and I'm kind of doing gigs. I'm kind of doing jazz festivals, but it's that thing. You put out a record and you're like, now what? What's next? I mean, was that it? Is that all I got? Okay. Is that, do I go make another record? And, that's costly, so at the same time, I had gotten a call from my friend Conrad Korish. She's a bass player and one of my oldest and dearest friends. And he was Rod Stewart's bass player. And he called me and he said, hey, I'm in LA. Do you want to, Rod, I'm in the studio with Rod. We're short a background singer. Can you come over to the studio and sing this thing? And I was like, well, I'm on my way to the dentist, and I'll be there in like 3 hours. I gotta clean my teeth, whatever. I had a cavity or something. He's like, no. You can't go you have to come now. Like, turn around and come now. There's no waiting for you to finish your dentist appointment, Lucy. So I was like, I get it. So turned around, went to the studio, and met Rod, and he was looking for a sub because one of the girls was having a baby and leaving, and so for a while, and so I came into sub for a while, and I ended up staying like 4.5 years. So that was an incredible gig. It came along at just the right time when I wasn't so sure what I wanted to do as an artist. I had been, very up and down as we are in this industry, and I was like, I need to take a break from literally and figuratively driving the bus. I needed to just take a step back and let me just go and have some good laughs, learn some really great music. Rod is awesome. We're still buds, and just see the world and just get a step back and learn about a different part of the industry. I'm cool with that. And I did think, and so I did that, and I made my best friends for life in that band, saw the world, paid off whatever debt I had in making a record, that kind of stuff. And you just, you have to take care of your business and your well-being as well. And as long as you're musically fulfilled, it's going to be okay. Life is short, and damn, that the struggle's real, like being an artist and staying positive. So it was a good, and then during that time with him, I was making and writing a lot my next record. So there was a point that I had to quit Rod. So I had been working a lot with Henry Hay, who was producing the record with Michael Leake from Snarky Puppy. A lot of the Snarky guys were on the record. I did my solo record with them, put it out on Ground Up Music, which is Michael's label. And in 2016, I did my last tour with Rod, and I said, I have to go. I have to leave. I have to do this. I have to go back to my music. And so it was like a bittersweet, kind of
it's
ending.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there many times too. It's just, and I mean, and it's true. If I don't feel musically fulfilled, I feel miserable. I know that. If I just like, that's just something in me. If it doesn't feel like I'm writing good things or recording good things or whatever, I just feel it's just not happy.
No.
It's not fun to be around me when
no.
when that's happening. Like,
No.
So that's not cool. Let's. We're almost going to be out of time soon.
Oh wow!
I don't want to do it.
Time goes by.
I don't want to let you go before we get to look at. I don't know. Please,
Oh.
for like 2 minutes of that. So good. Let's show it. Yes.
This is a song by Ruth Brown. Should I let myself go in his direction? Is his love strong enough for my heart's protection? I don't know. No, I don't know. But I love him so good till I think I should. If I gave him my heart, would he refuse it? Would he tear it apart? Or tenderly use it? I don't know. No, I don't know. But I hope and I pray that he comes my way.
That's a few years ago now. Wow. You're like, oh wow. Anyway, good time.
And I love your game face too. You have a killer game face. Yes.
God, I look at him like, what am I doing? We got that term, jazz face. I see myself singing. I'm like, and like, how do I contort my face like that? I have no idea. But the notes come out, and you got to do what you got to do.
Is that right? Yes. I always tell Sophia that.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Is like we all have our game face. Everybody has it. You know, and that's the stage face we're singing. Like if it's me and I'm like, this is my microphone. I'm like,
yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I know.
So Pink Martini.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're amazing, and I mean, I sound like a broken record. You're amazing, but it's true. You're amazing. And in Pink Martini, you're amazing. And how did that come to be?
Pink Martini, that the lead singer, China Forbes, who's been with the band for 20, 30 years, she's the original. She had to get a sudden vocal like nodes out of her throat. Yeah. So it was an emergency situation. So I knew the band leader through another friend of mine, and I had to learn the show, like, you know, songs in Croatian, Turkish, French, Spanish, and Russian, and some English. So I had to learn it about five different languages in about 5 days. So I was able to read the lyrics, but that was I was coming out of a huge breakup, and as we know, music heals so much. I was coming out of this massive breakup, and I got thrown into that gig, and it healed my heart like beyond, you know, because I just woke up and I sang in Croatian, and I went to bed and I studied Turkish, and I woke up and I sang in Spanish, you know, and that was so good for my mind. And my first gig with them was like, you know, Montreal Jazz Fest or something. I was really transported into this. They're very cool because they're like a mini orchestra, and they kind of you think you're in the 1950s on a boat going from like Miami to Havana, you know, like it's really a time capsule world, and such a fun gig. And I learned so much about music, but also about myself again, you know, and languages and the power of language. And so I was just subbing while she had this terrible vocal surgery. So
wow. So that brings me to, we did touch on like your pearls of wisdom and all those things, but the Lucy now, what would you tell the Lucy, like say, you know, 10-year-old Lucy?
Wow. That's such a heavy question. I think a lot of it is, don't worry. It's going to be okay. You know, don't worry, little Lucy. You know, there's so much worry about doing the right thing. But also, yes. I have been thinking a lot about this recently for various reasons. But one of them, we talked about this before. You make some bad decisions, but they're never really bad decisions because that's what felt right in the moment. And, you know, that could be with relationships or work or music, whatever. But they felt right in the moment, and you just accept them and only get wiser in the process. And I mean, just to be so much more forgiving of yourself, and just do it for the right reasons and not to worry as much. You know what I mean? Worry can bring us all down.
That's so precious what you just said. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, that's the perfect thing to end on. We're just about out of time. I know we are. But before we go, 2 things I need to do. I want to play a little bit of Lady Killer. Even just a minute of it. I mean, because all of these videos, I love them all. And I know that the audience is going to love them as much as I do.
Thank you. I think this is a video of the big band. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is, yeah. Okay.
Do you see me now? A weeping willow or a girl with a crown, an angel or a siren taking you down. Either way, I know you're gonna win. I try to do right, but from out the dark you came to ignite my bliss and pain to hold me down tight. If this is my fate, you're gonna win. If love's a ball at a door, don't fight me. Then eye to eye, you colorblind me sweetly. Take my heart and my kiss, don't set me free. Be my nemesis, oh, I'm at ease. Come on, come on, come on. You're my lady killer. You're gonna shatter me.
Girl, that's
Thank
all I have to
you.
say. I mean, having you here has been amazing. I'm going to let you go. But before I let you go, can we just sing a little song together?
Sure. How about?
I might need some water. Hold on.
Okay, me too then.
I might need some water.
Let's do like a little verse to like Bill Withers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Ain't no sunshine.
I better get the words.
Oh boy.
I mean, I know it, but just what if I forget? Okay.
Me too, and I will too.
Ain't no.
I'm gonna do it to them because I'll mess up this just by giggling and looking at your cute face. So hold on.
Okay. I got it. I mean, it's the same thing pretty much over and over, but then there's a little switch in line here and there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get at least one verse, or it's very short. We can do it.
Sure.
We can do it. Okay.
And let's trade lines. So I'll start, and then you just jump in where. Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh my God! So I'm gonna wait like half a second because of the latency. So out there in the world, forgive us if we cross a little bit. So
it's all just fun. Okay. Wish us luck. Here we go. La 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 la. Okay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
It's not warm when she's away.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And he's I already looking at the lyric. And she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away.
Boom, boom, boom. Wonder this time where she's gone.
I wonder if she's gonna stay.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime
she goes away. That's awesome.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
I know. Thank you, Kelly, so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you as always, and I can't wait to see you in person again.
It's my pleasure and my honor. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And Lucy, tell them where to find you and on your social, all those things.
Yeah, sure. So I guess, Instagram is a choice of weapon of choice. Miss Lucy Woodward, MISS Lucy Woodward. And anywhere else is also Lucy Woodward and lucywoodward.com. So that's it. Yes, Lord, Kelly can sing the phone book. I know that.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. And so I'm going to be keeping in touch with you as we've been always doing over the years.
Definitely.
Thanks again. And just keep making that amazing music. You can collaborate with anyone. Hopefully, maybe one day we get to collaborate for real. That would be amazing.
That would be so much fun.
Maybe we could do a cover of the Donna Summer Barbara Streisand, Enough is Enough.
Great. Let's make it happen.
Can you imagine?
Do it. It's on.
We'll just turn it on its ear and turn it into a blues, to fit whatever we want to do.
Just make what make us sound like that. I'm in, girl.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you all. Nice to meet everybody. Bye.
Bye. So, guys, thank you so much for the show and coming on in and hanging out with me and Sophia. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, let's
awesome.
Right? Isn't Lucy just amazing?
Yeah.
It feels warm. I just adore her so much. And she's so talented. But we have more talent coming every single week, just about. Next week, our special guest is going to be Miss Deborah Bond. You guys don't want to miss that. So she's phenomenal too. She's going to come and talk about everything that she's doing. She's doing some amazing things. So hope to see you. Oh, we got a nice little thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Drez. And thank you, Soul Brother and Stephanie and Andrea again and Al and Roro and Harren. And I'm just going up the list from what I saw, from what I read. Doodoo Butter, Kobe. Someone's name is Doodoo Butter. Al, Doug, Soul Motif. I miss anybody? I hope I got everybody. Bill and all our supporters out there. We'll see you next week for another great edition with Deborah Bond yet again. Thank you for taking your time to hang out with us here. Learn the language, girl. And we'll see you again very soon next week. Bye.
Bye.